What's going on, gamers? So Jess has an interesting poster, and I just took a look at something. Well, damn. But we're gonna get into this, and we're gonna explain how there's some interesting point of views that pop up around this, and it doesn't have to be negative. Ori Dev says PlayStation 5 makes the most sense at the moment. Hold on, don't jump the gun. Suggesting no rest for the wicked may skip Xbox for launch, but it should still arrive later. Market conditions. Interesting. So we got some interesting thing here. PlayStation 5, profit, market lead, install base, um, and trying to make maximum profit. And when they do all that, they'll do that. Pretty sure they'll make a Switch 2 version down the line too, because that's a console that's going to do very well. So, but first, market conditions, right? We got a lot to read here. There's an article over here too. Like, I'm subscribed. Let's get into this. So going down, Combo says this take is cynical as F. But if this does end up coming to Xbox, at what point do we start to question whether or not this stuff is done intentionally to manufacture hype and discussion for a game that otherwise wouldn't have gotten it? Just weird to cite market conditions when there's 30 million series consoles in the wild, 5 million Nintendo Switch 2 consoles in the wild. I mean, I get what he's saying, but that's not how many people are on right now, though. It's going to be a lot less than that, bro. Um, he says, Jess says, I don't think it's cynical. This is interesting. Let's go down here. We're going to get into some the article. And he says there's a whole article there about that. So we're gonna get into this interesting stuff. All right, let's go over. Moon Studios' next title, Notice for the Wicked, might skip Xbox at launch when the firm suggesting a focus on PlayStation after looking at the numbers. Um, yeah, it makes sense. They need profit, definitely, if we're going to talk about market conditions. And if you don't know, these are the devs that did Ori, Will o' the Wisp, and I think Ori and the Blind Forest. I actually beat both of those games, loved both of them. Most studios are awesome developers, but obviously they have a different outtake on things. So let's keep reading. No Rest of the Wicked is one of the most stunning ARPGs ever committed to code. Celebrated Ori and the Blind Forest developer Moon Studios has offered an updated status on the Xbox version for their follow-up No Rest for the Wicked. No Rest for the Wicked is a top-down action RPG with gorgeous visuals and tight combat. It takes cues from Diablo and weaves them with a higher skill ceiling, rewarding precision and patience, much like Ori before. I'm a fan. The game's dark-handed craft setting and abundance of game mechanics and systems give it some huge potential as it continues to chart its future through Steam's early access program. It's $39.99 on Steam, as it has been there as of writing, and is already very excellent. Xbox fans fond of Ori and Will o' the Wisp might have been wondering when No Rest for the Wicked might show up on your preferred platform. If so, I have potentially bad news. So here we go, we're going to get right to it. In the comments for the No Rest for the Wicked Discord, Moon Studios CEO Thomas Mahler offered an update. Oh, that guy's funny. On the console versions of the games, noting that Xbox is the lowest priority behind Switch 2 and PlayStation 5 for console versions. Mahler said he planned to discuss things with Microsoft to see what makes sense for Xbox. Basically, he's saying you better come pay me if you want to get it. You know what I mean? Because market conditions, bro. You got all the money. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make that statement to not only say I'm favoring you over Sony to throw something at you, because that's only making my most profit, but I'm putting Nintendo there too. This actually makes sense, obviously, but at the same time, he's kind of binding Microsoft by saying, yeah, you better pay me some money. I kind of feel like that's kind of like where he's getting at there. Smart guy, you know what I mean? He's playing his hand right. And let's go down to Ginger Prime and let's continue. This gets very interesting. Wild news today, as No Rest for the Wicked might skip the Xbox. That just depends. And by the way, I don't want that. That sucks because I know people that would want to play that, and I'm sorry to hear that. That just depends on what seems to make sense for the platform, but it's not set in stone. And another point of view is the Xbox PC aspect. I wonder if Microsoft are making developers also so annoyed that they're like, dude, what are you doing? Either a console or a PC. I don't want to sit there and put my game on your market if it's not going to transfer over to the PC. Or is there going to be like something like I there's something else missing that we need to get an answer on before I know finalize things. That's why I told you guys I'm not doing that yet. So I'm kind of waiting on that. But just a little bit of thought. While news today has no rest for the wicked may skip the Xbox, right? That just depends on what makes sense for the platform. PS5 and Switch 2 confirmed. I wonder if this is more just Xbox becoming a PC at this point or whatnot. What do you think? That's basically what I was talking about before I got to this, because there was also something else down here talking about it too. Let's go down here and see if we could find it. Um, Hell, I know I read that. Maybe it was on this post down here. It's only going to get worse. Why would devs make a port for the Xbox store when the next console runs PC versions on Steam? That is a very good question to ask. Uh, you know, when a first party and Xbox Game Pass exclusive games come out, we only ever hear about players, not sales. So when a dev intending to only sell the game, who also recently worked with Xbox, or a dev says they might do Xbox later, I believe they have a reason. That's what I'm saying. So it's not necessarily bad. It's just that's just what they want to do. You know what I mean? It just makes sense for anybody looking at from a business standpoint. But if Microsoft wants to get the check to get the game, they'll do that. And I think that's what he's looking for. In a follow-up post, because of marketing conditions on X, Mahler clarified that no rest for the wicked will ultimately ship on all platforms, but likely not at the same time. So see? With PlayStation 5 making the most sense based on numbers. Please confirm. There's nothing to officially confirm, said Thomas Mahler. We want to support consoles, and just looking at the numbers, PS5 makes the most sense at the moment. Ultimately, it will ship on all platforms, but likely not at the same time. And see, this type of stuff right here also makes people think about money heading with Sony. I could see that popping up, but I don't have clarification for that yet. But I mean, historically speaking, I wouldn't be surprised. We'll be sure to update this section if any further clarifications appear on the old internets. It's an old George Bush meme saying, by the way, if y'all don't know about that. It's certainly true the PlayStation 5 boasts the largest console audience as of writing, although I would have expected No Rest for the Wicked to potentially over-indexed on Xbox due to the Moon Studios fandom therein. Xbox also has reported growth on PC and cloud gaming with Xbox Play Anywhere, Xbox Game Pass, and Stream Your Own Games initiatives. Although it's still likely small overall than the opportunity presented by PlayStation. Yeah, of course, they're going to make you more money. Same thing with Nintendo in the long run, but right now Sony is all about third-party support. You know what I mean? That's where it's going to make the most sense. Nintendo is all about first-party. So his comment just makes sense mathematically, looking at it from a business standpoint. Yeah, dude, I get it. There has been a debate within the game community about sales opportunities on Xbox as a platform when it comes to games not included in Game Pass. Despite this, PlayStation itself has opted to bring Helldivers 2. Live service is different, but you're just adding on to the current pool. You're not trying to sell individually. And I just want to get as much profit as possible. Like, you're starting to see this lately. They don't like look at anything to put on Game Pass. It's more about they're more interested in pure profit. And then you see these market conditions coming up as well. Interesting stuff. Let me know what you guys think about that, because that's a new way of basically saying why you want to go to PlayStation. First time I've ever seen that. There's been a debate within the game dev community about sales opportunities on Xbox as a platform when it comes to games not included on Game Pass. Despite this, well, I mean, everybody knows that. It's pretty obvious. Despite this, PlayStation itself has opted to bring Helldivers to the Xbox. Wasn't talking to Jez, but I just mean like just in general. If you never had Game Pass, obviously you would sell more. But when you put that there, it's obvious that games are not going to sell at their peak by doing that. No, they're going to take down. So that's just an obvious. I knew that the moment it got introduced. So it's not new to me. Despite this, PlayStation itself has opted to bring Helldivers 2 to the Xbox outside of Game Pass, likely since an opportunity due to the platform's traditional preference to shooters. That's what I was telling people. It just makes sense. It's also a massive test, too. So please pass that. Games at least superficially similar to No Rest for the Wicked, like Diablo 3 and 4, have also enjoyed a lot of popularity on Xbox over the years. Pre and post Xbox Game Pass, so I would expect No Rest for the Wicked to enjoy similar success there too. Yeah, that game looks like it's good. Very ambitious. Those guys are talented. I expect the game to do well, and I expect them to get that money and a profit, and it's going to be fine. But I just want to make sure they do all that right off the get-go. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it on there. We can finish this here by continuing down. Like he says, games, at least superficially, Diablo and all that, pre and post Xbox Game Pass. So I would expect No Rest for the Wicked to have so much success there too. But as an independent studio, developers often prioritize per platform development purely for cost reasons. Yeah, because they're independent. Without a Game Pass deal or some form of funding from Microsoft to offset costs, the opportunity on PlayStation is clearly the biggest. Just being intelligent, you know what I mean? It's like, don't be an idiot. Nintendo Switch 2 is already rapidly catching up as there as well, and the competition for games that are Switch 2 exclusive is pretty minimal right now, so there's also a big opportunity there. Yeah, tap into the market on Japan, tap into the handheld community. They love that type of stuff. So, I mean, yeah, basically finishes off here as a fixed camera perspective game. Xbox Cloud Gaming's image update algorithm would have an easier time providing a native feeling experience with no rest for the wicked, as Xbox Cloud Gaming looks to shed its beta tag in the coming months. If you don't know about that, that just recently happened. You'll be able to stream your games that are available in the cloud that you own on Xbox on your PC app. That's up and available. Uh, I found out you had to actually click the cloud thing and click something else, and then it shows what you own on there. So yeah, that does work, but yeah, so here we go. In any case, be sure to check out No Rest for the Wicked on Steam. And like I said, this article is by Jez Corden, so I'll put it in my description below. Let me know what you guys think about this. I wasn't coming here to bash or anything. We just wanted to see what they had to say, and it's something to look at. So yeah, I'm curious about you guys' feedback. Let me know. All right, y'all. Ponies. Sit down. Gamers, stay cool. Later, y'all.